There are no two ways about the fact that Amber Heard is right now one of the most hated celebrities on the internet, and the brunt of the fire will definitely reach everything she becomes a part of. We all are already seeing the resistance that her next big vehicle, the sequel Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, is facing because the studio decided to keep her and no fire. Amid that, the actor has seen the release of her film Gully, and the film has turned out to be doomed. Heard booed as her show flops and the public backs Depp. For the unversed, Amber Heard has been at the receiving end of backlash for almost a year now. It all began when Johnny Depp faced defeat in the Libel trial against the British tabloid. Hell broke loose on him and he had to bid farewell to some of his big projects. This led to Depp fans lashing out at Heard and calling out studios for not making her face the consequences and being partial. Now Gully's release has only proved that the hate is still strong. Gully starring Amber Heard that released most recently did not impress critics who bashed the movie left, right, and center. At the box office, it must have fared better, but not enough to take the flop tag away from its fate. Gully initially premiered in 2019 but had to suffer a 2-year delay due to the pandemic that brought things to a standstill. The movie finally saw a release this year 2 weeks ago, but as per We Got This Covered, it never really screened in more than 100 screens. The report by the same portal says that the film only managed to earn $36,000 globally and that it has not worked in Amber Heard's favor clearly. It can't be ignored that the pandemic still going strong in many parts of the world is also a reason for low collections. Even if you completely ignore all of the rumors, speculation, backlash, bile, and vitriol pointed in the direction of her personal life, which is admittedly difficult when there's simply so much of it, Amber Heard hasn't been having the greatest of times on screen since she played the female lead in Aquaman, which made over $1.1 billion at the box office to go down in the history books as the biggest DC adaptation ever. Admittedly, her entire filmography in the time extends to 2 movies, a streaming exclusive and a TV show, but it still doesn't make for great reading. Even Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was instantly beloved among fans, saw the actress come under fire for the bizarre and ultimately misguided decision to give Mera a British accent for whatever reason, something she was clearly incapable of pulling off. Additionally, mystery thriller London Fields was dumped into cinemas 5 years after shooting wrapped, during which time the director sued the producers for fraud, while Heard was also the subject of a $10 million lawsuit for a film that by all accounts is terrible, boasting the unwanted distinction of a 0% Rotten Tomatoes score. Her latest, Gully, at least fared a little better, but critics still bash the drama heavily. Having initially premiered in April of 2019, the coronavirus pandemic saw it shelved for over 2 years, and since finally scoring a big screen release 2.5 weeks ago, it's only managed to bring in a paltry $36,000 globally, and has never played in more than 100 theaters at one time. At least Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom will be guaranteed to bring Amber Heard some success, then following a string of duds. Okay, so Amber Heard is everywhere. At this point, it is basically impossible to ignore it because no matter what you do, if you talk films, she'll come up eventually. Even if you want to separate her personal life from her professional one, good luck. People hate Amber Heard right now, but that hasn't slowed her down at all. It slowed her movies down though. Her new movie flopped and made less than $50,000 globally. She did have a huge hit with Aquaman, of course, but that was some time ago. Aquaman grossed over $1.1 billion at the box office, and it became the highest grossing DC film of all time. He beat out all the Superman and Batman films, so good job Jason Momoa. Okay, so Heard has only released 2 movies since then, but both of them have done terribly. Some are even saying it's karma for all the stuff with Johnny Depp. Oh, let's not forget the streaming exclusive she had and the one TV show. We wouldn't want to be unfair, of course. We're mostly interested in her newest film though, so that's the one we'll be looking at. Gully hasn't been completely terrible at least, there are no lawsuits surrounding this movie, at least. It still managed to only make a measly $36,000 globally. Oof. Not only did it perform poorly commercially, but critically too. Critics absolutely tore it apart, and it had nothing to do with the fact that Heard was in it. It was based on all their performances alone. That's pretty rough. Well, even though all her recent movies have been terrible, at least, she has a big one coming out. She's still going to be in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That one should perform well unless all the people claiming they're going to boycott it actually do. Still, when a film makes less than $50,000 globally, you know it's gotta be bad. The Nabil Elderkin directed the film Gully is the first outing for Amber Heard since 2018's Aquaman. Although the film had already premiered in 2019, it was a pandemic that delayed its theater release. Through this time, instead of movies, many fans saw Heard battling with Depp over trial since the time Heard accused her ex-husband of abuse. Things went really bad when the court found both guilty, but it was Depp who faced the worst of circumstances, losing most of his movie career while Heard continues her delicacy. The fans were clearly not happy with this particular decision and went on hating sprees or Heard. This came through petitions, and the same hate comes for Amber Heard's latest film, Gully. Yes, Gully is actually failing both ways at the moment. First of all, we have to admit the hate for Amber Heard has clearly lived on. If we observe, although the trial didn't affect the movie Heard was working on, but fans are making sure to make the scores even. Many believe the controversy around her would bring many people to the theater, although they actually felt when Gully debuted in theaters on the weekend for the first time. But by the next few days, not many fans have made it to the theaters. We can admit it to the pandemic, but some films do have performed around the same time, so we can say it's the fans who are avoiding the film and don't want to support it. Amber Heard's Gully went on to earn just $36,000 globally, which is quite lackluster, so clearly the fans still feel for what went down in the trail. Amber Heard continues to be the most hated celebrity. Lastly, all the upcoming projects of the Gully star may affect the same. Probably Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom too, where she returned. Also, Warner Bros. Clearly doesn't have a great track record with their fans lately.